Who cares? And that's kind of it, which is really fucking sad. It's super fucking sad. I'm not gonna lie. Holla, ballers! Everyone, gas masks on. We're playing Shadow. We are indeed playing Shadow. So prepare yourselves, because we're going in deep, we're going in hot. Oh yes, we are. Take a look at it. Face it. This is what I thought. This was worth a look. I thought we had to do a look at the Shadow Priest. I haven't looked at it at all because it was touted by our poor man Mr. Law as a spec that was due changes. They promised it, and they may still happen. I'm convinced Blizzard is scrambling right now to try and get most of the work done before launch, as the reception to their announcement that, you know what, yeah, we've run out of time, hasn't really gone down too well. Did I get aggro? Nice. So, what's going on with it? Why are people pissed at it? Well, Blizzard have had a lot of time. Like, a whole expansion, and also the preparation in terms of Legion, and a whole expansion on top of that, of trying to fix the issues that Shadow has, which is Void Farm. Void Farm is a problem. Why is Void Farm a problem? Because on paper, Void Farm is awesome. It's such a cool idea. And if you look back to my video in Legion's Alpha, yeah, Legion Alpha, hitting 100 stacks with Surrender to Madness was possibly one of the most fun experiences I've had in this game. Certainly, easily the most fun I'd had in years. Absolute years of playing World of Warcraft. It was like, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And the problem is, outside of situations like that, it doesn't really work out too well unless you get massive gear, and you get supreme haste values, and you have cool stuff like the belt, the Lego belt, and Cephas' secret, and you have all this mad haste. It doesn't really pay off. And it resulted in what wasn't unexpected, we called it at the time, which was Shadow getting nerfed into the ground, which is what happened, I think, shortly after... Before Tomb, I want to say, Shadow got smacked. I remember a lot of Surrender to Madness priests doing Guam and things like that. So the Shadow Priests obviously have been like, can we fix this? Can you know, like, even towards the end of Legion, we had people suggesting, do not level a priest as Shadow, right? Don't do that. That is just a fucking pain in the ass. That's Fade. Don't do that. Don't level as Shadow. It's bad. It's not fun, etc., etc. Level is discipline. Like, level is discipline. It's far better. And the reason was, of course, by the time you got into Void Form, it was time to come out of Void Form. Void Form was, like, useless to you. You couldn't make any stacks. Mobs died and all that kind of stuff. And that's not a great place to be, right? That's not really what you want to be telling people, is like, hey, don't play this. Play it as something else. Play your DPS spec as a healer and you'll have a better time. That's clearly a problem, right? That's clearly a problem. So, with a new expansion coming and the loss of those legendaries, which allowed a lot of the freedom that Shadow Priests have enjoyed to dwindle away back down into nothingness, people were really hoping that it would get fixed and they could make Void Farm much, much better, but they haven't. In fact, it's worse than ever. And what they've done, which is my big issue with it, again, I don't read the Discords and stuff. I try not to be a mouthpiece for the Discords, which obviously causes some plight sometimes. Those guys take it personally. I have nothing, no hate from me, man. No hate from me. Let's dispel that. I love the Discords. They focus on the specs in a way I can't possibly do. Like, I can't invest like 100 hours into a spec and tweak every little tiny major thing and sim them all. I can't do that. I can't do that. I go off my gut instincts, and that has worked for years. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So the way they've gone about it, and this is what you're going to see today. You're going to see me making maybe some weird choices. As you can see, damage isn't that bad, and it's a little bursty, which sounds weird for a Shadow Priest, I know. Have they nerfed this? Should we science it? No, I don't want to science it. Oh, that just missed completely. Never mind. What they've done, the solution to this, if you want to call it that, is to kind of make Void Farm less important. In fact, and I said this in the choosing a main video, it kind of feels like at this point it's just a pain in the ass, Void Farm, for Blizzard to deal with. If you play a Shadow Priest with that in mind, and that is the mentality that it's kind of a pain in the ass, don't worry about it too much, it plays much better. It plays much, much better. My mentality now when I play, I've done a few dungeons today and bumped into many of you while doing it. With all different specs and stuff. Some of the talents are still bugged, which is fine. But if you... What I've done is I've basically ignored Void Form unless it's up. And like, if it's up, cool. Like, it's up. Awesome. And that's kind of it. That's my thought process on it. Other than that, I don't really care about Void Form much. I can't get good stacks out of it, no matter what I do. If I make a build that's focused on like pure Void Form stacks, I might get 1 or 2 extra, but it's not going to be much of anything. Right? It's not going to be much of anything. And that's about it. So the way I've started playing it, and has freed me up quite a lot in enjoying the Shadow Priest, is just be like, oh, Void Form's up. Do I want to use it like now? Not really. I'm not going to get any benefit out of it. I'll use it on the next pack. It's not going to give me much, if any, bonus anyway. Who cares? And that's kind of it, which is really fucking sad. It's super fucking sad. I'm not going to lie. It's just, we're going a weird way. We're like killing this trash now. I don't know what's happening here. We seem to be, oh, we're going down to the dinosaur. Who doesn't jump down to the dinosaur? Come on, man. Get it together, son. And that's how I've used it. Like, I look at Void Form now as like, oh, I have Void Form. Cool, I can add Void Bolt into my DPS spells. But other than that, I just prioritize the usual shit. Mind Blast, Shadow of Pain. Are we going back now? What's going on? I'm so baffled by how people do this. Now we're going back. Okay, now he's over here. Alright. Well, this has kind of derped up my entire playstyle. But whatever. And that's worked out in spades for me. Now let's talk about the absolute horrors. The baseline stuff that is missing. Yeah, Void Torrent and Shadow of Death are now talents, which I'm sure any seasoned Shadow Priest will be fully aware of, and how horrific that is. I'm still struggling, like, mentally, to not press Death when I see targets that are low. Like, everything in me wants to press Shadow of Death. Absolutely everything in me wants to press it, and I can't. It just doesn't exist. And when you're in a dungeon like this, not checking Shadow Crash feels ridiculous. Same with Void Torrent. Like, not having Void Torrent accessible makes sense in a world where we don't particularly care about Void Farm, right? Like, if you're not interested in getting mad Void Farm stacks, then yeah, Void Torrent's less good. Maybe that's what Blizzard intended from the start. It feels that way, sure. And it's less fun. It's less fun, and that's really a big kick in the ass, because you've lost these two, like, baseline parts of your toolkit, and it's not really... you've not been compensated by it in any way other than just reducing the... Oh, we're pulling all the things. Okay. Okay. I like the whispers. Now, you will notice some other things, like, even single target, I was trying this on a dummy earlier, like, even single target, the way the Void Bolt extends your dots now, means you can't keep up Shadow of Pain on a single target, like, through Void Bolt, unless you get, like, I'm sure, like, a little bit of haste will get me there, but fucking hell, man, it feels so bad. It does. It feels so fucking bad that you can't do that. You're like, I'm doing all the stuff you want me to do. But again, that's the Legion playstyle. It's not really the BfA playstyle, which is... Void Form's nice. Is it great? No. And that's kind of why Thread to Madness has also been changed to just be a kind of mini DPS cooldown. Like, I don't think I've looked at any math that suggests that Shadow Word Pain, barring some really specific situations, would ever be a DPS increase. It just is a thing. What does it do now, you're probably asking? All your insanity generating abilities generate 100% more insanity, and you can cast while moving for 1 minute. And then you take damage equal to 90% of your maximum health, and cannot generate insanity for 30 seconds. Now, that, in a world where Void Form doesn't feel that good, that's not that bad, but compared to, like, just having... Dark Ascension should be good when it's fixed. This is one of the things that's still bugged. I tried it out before. It's not doing what it's supposed to do, which instantaneously puts you into Void Form, but again, Void Form just doesn't feel that important anymore. It feels like just a nice tacked-on thing, I guess, which is, again, I'm just going to say it over and over, it's such a fucking shame, because that ability is so good. Void Form should be fantastic. And unfortunately, it's just not. I'm not sure why this... I get a weird tooltip pop up. Stop telling me about main hands. Stop it. Yeah. Oh, we're CCing. Interesting. back into void form. And again, void form, just think of it that way. If you think of it like I'm thinking of it, it's like, hey, I can add void bolt into my rotation. And that's literally it. If you think about it that way, it's not bad. Like, it makes it tolerable. It makes it tolerable. Now, as you can see, none of these are great. I don't even know if this is because, yeah, it should be. Ideal? No. Like, it's so much worse. And there's no getting away from it. It's so much worse than Legion. Which is really fucking sad. And it's going to go live this way unless, like I said, they scramble and get it fixed. They might do. But I don't think they know where to go. So you might be saying something like, Mike, you're being a bitch, dude. Like, what are the suggestions you have for this? Honestly, at this point, the sheer quantity of suggestions that have been thrown around to try and get this spec where it needs to be are better and far more numerous than I can put into this video. The beta forums and the Shadow Priest Discord have been just filled with feedback after feedback after feedback. It's one of the reasons the players are so distraught about what has happened with the classes that don't seem to be getting an update before BfA goes live. And it makes me really sad, honestly. I checked MMO Champ this morning because before Father's Day, I took the day off on Sunday. That was when the big announcement had come out, and people were kicking off on the forums, obviously, about this decision Blizzard has made to say, we're not going to fix these specs until 8.1, which could be like 2 or 3 months into BfA. And I just check in and see what people were saying. And it made me so sad that there were people who were now chiming in on the back of this, like, well, has anybody even said what the problems are? It's like, and then people going, no, obviously, people are just bitching because they want to bitch. You know that ridiculous thing that you read sometimes? As if people are just, like, wanting to whine about nothing. And then it's like, yeah, there was fucking pages and pages and pages of feedback left by people for months about this stuff. And because you didn't read it, it makes me so sad that the mentality is, well, I haven't bothered to check or read it, ergo it doesn't exist, and therefore people are just being bitches, right? Instead of like, no, people have been suggesting this shit for literally months now, and you've not bothered to do anything about it. Oh, come on, I can't be the only interrupts here, right? I mean, that's not a thing. Let's not do that. Let your soul be shattered. Oh, they nerfed the crap out of this boss. They have nerfed the shit out of this boss. Damage-wise, I think this is something we talked about in the web show, is that it's likely with these specs that aren't playing as you want them to do, that feel very unfun, that are just considerably worse than the Legion iteration, and they are. Even with spells like Dark Void, which you saw me using there, which puts Shadow of Pain on everything, it's quite nice for dungeons. The damage, I think that what they're going to do is they're going to pop the damage up quite a lot. Otherwise, people are going to re-roll away from this, because traditionally in all video games, you got two classes, right? Both do the same damage, but one is way more fun. Everyone's going to play the way more fun one, and Blizzard doesn't want that to happen. So the only way they're going to beat that is people will play a spec that does huge amounts of damage, even if it's not fun to play. Loads of people do that all the time. I don't like that mentality, but gamers will always choose that path. If they could be OP with 2 buttons or whatever, that'll be fine. There's a lot more complexity to what I just showed you here, but you got the general gist of it. My message to you is, if you want to play a Shadow Priest in BfA, you have to change your mentality from Legion. And that mentality that I'm getting after playing around with all the talents and specs and stuff is just, don't treat Void Farm as something cool. Treat it as a thing that can happen. Try and do your best with it, which means, like, don't pop it just as a pack's about to die. Pop it when you're going into a new pack. But also don't, like, stress about it. Like, it's just not that thing. It's not that important. Just continue to do what you do. You're either going to be a void farm or not, and you'll just keep popping in and out and doing all those kind of things. And if you do that, it makes more sense as a spec as to what they're trying to do, in my opinion anyway. But I'd love to see your feedback as well. Love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I hope that clears up a bit of the Shadow Priest problems for you. Some of you who watch this say that plays fine for me. Good. I can tell you leveling is a giant pain in the ass. I've done a couple of levels, like, just roaming around. I leveled a priest before they did the character wipe as well. It didn't change that much. And it was still a massive pain in the ass. And again, it feels like just Void Farm maybe needs to either go or be changed entirely from this thing that Blizzard wants, that you're like desperate to stay in, because they've gone past that now. And Lord, please just give these back baseline. Like, they like a part of the spec, and they're so much more interesting with them. As you can see, if it's, I'm in this weird scenario like we saw with the little dinosaurs over here, where it's like, I can't be, it's pointless me dotting them because they're going to die soon, but I can't do anything else. All I can do is Mind Sear and just tickle them to death. And it feels like that's not how the spec is supposed to play. Having death to throw in on targets like that just makes the spec feel more like a real, full, complete spec that can take advantage of situations. Maybe we should go back to Shadow Orbs. I don't know. If they can admit Void Form isn't really working out as we want it to do, maybe going back to Shadow Orbs, which I was fine with. I enjoyed the Shadow Orb playstyle. Certainly more than this. But I'll leave that to you guys anyway. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Peace out. I'll see you again. See you later, guys.